Yo, welcome to another episode of Courtside Chat. Excited to bring you the best basketball in the state of Texas right here in Beast, Texas, and Beast, Texas Hoops. Before we get started, first off, let me thank everybody for subscribing, for shouting out, for liking, and please continue to do that. We're trying to get on every platform where family members and players and athletes and coaches are. So we're on Instagram. Go follow us on there. We're on TikTok. Go like, go subscribe, go reshare. We're also on Facebook. I put some stuff out on there on my personal page, but we're on YouTube most importantly. Please go subscribe there. If you like the content, give us feedback. You have some athletes that are in your area playing some good ball. We love to shout them out. That's what we're all about. Let me bring on my brother, my co-host, my mentor, Marlon Cloudy Jr.
Yo,
what's up, my brother?
no, not much, man. Just getting ready to wind down and get geared up for another week. I hope a full week of school this week.
No, you don't. I won't say what I hope for. Hey, but yeah, we're recording a little late on this Saturday evening. But as you can tell, man, we've got some upgrades, and we're extremely excited about them. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it. And we'll start with some games that we witnessed on Tuesday night. Let's start with the center girls, man, and the season that they're having.
Shout out to Coach Smith. This one kind of special to us. You know, we got to work with a lot of these girls this summer with our Shelby County Cave program. And just to see them and the success that they're having, what Coach Smith is doing with their program, with a huge shot to win a district championship, will be the first time in 30 years for our girls program here. I'm proud of what they're doing out there on the court.
30 years. That's a long time, man.
Yeah, longer than your baby brother been alive.
That right there is correct. So shout out to Coach Smith. Those girls, they got them playing some good basketball. As you can see in the clips, Miss Johnson, everybody in the district fears her to go along with some good guard play. So shout out to Coach Smith and center, Lady Riders, and what they have going on right now. And we are supporting you. We're backing you, and we definitely hope you guys can bring home something that hasn't been done in over 30 years. So good luck to them.
Yeah. You talked about a couple of those players, you know, Journey Smith, who's a freshman. You got Gabby, who was a senior this year for them. And then, you know, you got Sierra. Those are girls that played with us. And, you know, just like I said, great to see what they're doing with the big win over Chapel Hill.
Yeah, huge win. And that puts them, like you said, in a good spot in the district race. If they take care of business on out, then they'll be in a good spot to go ahead and take care of business and win the district championship. Moving on to the game that took place right after the girls, we had a barn burner, man. It was rocking from opening tip. As you can see, the home stands over there were filled up. And the Rider fans came out wearing purple, and they were loud. What are your thoughts on Tuesday night contest between Center and Chapel Hill?
Well, walking into the gym, like you could just feel the intensity and the atmosphere. You know, both of these teams, they've split games the past couple of years. Coach Johnson, Coach Harrison, like it's no secret that they're 1-2 in the district, and you know, this was for a chance to tie and be co-district champions, or you know, Chapel Hill to sweep the season. And the crowd was amazing. You had matchups, and I was pleasantly surprised. You know, we talk about, you know, Tim Johnson, we talk about Cash Cross, but Tiki Robinson, like Tiki, he showed up and had a big time performance. Had, I think, 13 and 13. Played with great energy. But man, what an atmosphere. That made me miss the sideline. That walking into that game.
No doubt. Like you said, Tiki played huge, and that was against some length and some size from Chapel Hill. So I was very impressed with that. Another thing that stuck out was the matchup between Cash Cross, who you previously mentioned, and Javen Mayfield, number 3 from Chapel Hill. Those are both 2 D1 football players. One's Cross going on the bar, and Mayfield going to SFA. And, man, those 2 young men are extremely athletic, and they showed that on Tuesday night and put on a show for everybody. So that was an interesting matchup that I was very intrigued to see, and it lived up to the hype.
Well, let's kind of talk about the game. You know, you come out, you got that atmosphere, you got that crowd, you got the energy, and you know, Center they jumped out on them. And you know, I'm watching the game, and you know, you can see Chapel Hill's athleticism and size as they warmed up, and you're like, oh my goodness, what's this gonna look like? But you know, for 3 quarters of that game, I'm watching Center. I'm like, this is a top 15, top 10 team in the state of Texas. You know, you had the guard play, like we mentioned Tiki already, and how he dominated on the glass and with his hustle and energy. Ja was changing shots, 6'7", big man for Center, athletic, long, and I was blown away with what Center brought out to the table, and they just, you know, built up an 18-point lead at the end of 3, and I'm looking at Chapel Hill like, man, this is a top 20 team in the state of Texas. But then that fourth quarter tipped off, and they turned it on, man. When Johnson and his team turned it up a level, then you saw that high level of Bulldog basketball. It was fun to watch it.
If you are unfamiliar with the Center community and how invested we are in the game of basketball, then this clip right here really just sums it up for you. We have young children, young girls that are not only watching the game, but invested in the game and know what's going on in the biggest moment of the game. This is the Brisbane dagger to essentially win the game from deep, and watch the emotions that these kids show. Oh, man. That's about how we all felt after he hit that 3 from deep.
Yeah, so going into the standings, you know, you got, with that win, Chapel Hill basically wrapping up the District 17 4A title, which brought Center and Kilgore to a tie in second place, with Center getting the win at Kilgore the first time that they played in district. You know, Center owns that tiebreaker. We fully expect Center to handle business when Kilgore comes to town. So, you know, we're looking at Center finishing second, Kilgore third, and then, you know, you got Spring Hill and Gilmer there fighting to get in that 4th spot. But, you know, you never can count your chickens before they hatch. That's why you play the game. So, you know, Kilgore and Center, that'll be an interesting one to watch, because, you know, you start looking at playoff races, and, you know, you want to, you know, avoid certain teams first round. You know, it's a blessing to get into the playoffs, but, you know, when you're there consistently, then you start looking at matchups, which takes us into, you know, that District 18 4A, who this Chapel Hill and Center District will meet up in the first round of by-district play. And, you know, what a week that Hudson had. 2 big wins versus Jacksonville and Bullard. And, you know, kind of just talk about, you know, what you're hearing about Hudson and that District 18 race over there.
And apparently the Hornets are back. And that's scary for a lot of people. It's hard for me to speak on because I kind of have a little PTSD when you're dealing with Hudson Hornet basketball. 2009, we were feeling good about ourselves. We finally, Coach Harrison came in back to what center basketball was. We were the first group to make the playoffs in about 3 or 4 years, and we ran into Hornet buzzsaw. We lost to them twice in district play. There's no way we could possibly lose to this team again. We beat them in the 3rd round, Nacogdoches, Texas, and it is a packed house. I mean, one of the livest environments that I've ever been in my high school career. I don't know if you've been to that Nacogdoches gym, but it's very rare that they have to pull that bottom section out. And Coach said that was the first time since Damian James left that they had pulled that out. And it was rocking in there. And once again, we lost to the Hudson Hornets. So Hudson is back, man. Excited for them and the program. But like you said, you don't want to get 4th in this district. You don't want to get hurt either. Having a matchup with a really athletic, possible Palestine team. So it's very crucial and very important for center to take care of business, get up, brush yourself off, like they did Friday night, and continue to play good basketball. Because that Kilgore matchup in the future is going to be a big one.
Right, and then you got in 3rd place right there, Jacksonville, who, they got off to a pretty good start, and then I'm guessing a player got hurt or they were missing somebody for a while because they had some games on their schedule.
They were missing the football stud, number 2. He's number 2 in basketball. I don't recall his name, but I talked to a very good source, and he said that he was missing for a little while because their record, they were definitely up and down. We were trying to figure it out, like, what's going on, man? Something's got to be going on. You play really well against a really good team, and then you turn around and get smacked by somebody we thought you should handle. But there's somebody that's scary too, and that'll be a tough matchup in the playoffs as well.
Right.
Moving on to another huge contest that took place on Tuesday night. We had a big-time matchup down in Mexia between Palestine, Westwood, and Mexia, top 20 ranked teams. Number 12 versus number 18. Palestine took care of business against Mexia early in the year, and the Mexia fans were ready for everything. And this is where our Courtside crown of episode 5 is going to go, because this young man right here, Mr. Collins, went bananas. What did you hear about him?
I mean, what they say, I wasn't familiar with your game, young man, but Mr. Collins, as you can see, people that's watching this on YouTube, these highlights, he is a scorer. That's flat out, can put the ball in the hole. I think they listed him at 5'10", being kind of generous, but I don't care how tall he is. He is a bucket getter, and I think this is 2 or 3 weeks in a row that we've talked about a 40-point score. That just lets you know what kind of basketball is going on in East Texas. But to do it in a big-time top 20 matchup, that lets you know that he ain't pumping Kool-Aid in his veins. Mr. Collins he is the real deal. I think that's what he called himself, the real deal.
And he is definitely that. Final score in the game, behind his 40-point, 5 assists, 3 rebound performance. Mexia ran away with it 98-70. And they really made things interesting over there in District 23A. As you can see, here are the current standings. Westwood, after that loss, is still leading the way because they have the tiebreaker over Franklin. Franklin's sitting right there at second. That'll be another huge contest coming up very soon between Westwood and Franklin. Westwood did exactly what they were supposed to do in the first round. They had both of those teams at home, and they took their business. So now they got to try to go on the road and win a big game. So it's going to be interesting to see what pans out in this district with those two having to play, and then Franklin and Mexia still having to face off with each other again as well. And not only that, looking down through there, it's going to be a fight for 4th place. You have 2 teams, Teague and Fairfield, both sitting at 4 and 5, And then Groesbeck with a huge win over Teague on Friday night to keep themselves in the race for that fourth place spot. So we talk about good basketball going on around here, man. This district is one that is going to go down to the final night for seeding and to see where people head or land head to the playoffs.
Yeah, and I can't wait to start talking playoff and district races here in the next couple of weeks, because this is the fun time of the year. And you look at the top three teams in this district. You got Mexia, who was once I think number 13 in the state. Now look like they're starting to hit their groove again. You never want to play your best basketball in December and January. We talk about that a lot as coaches. You want to be playing your best ball come February and March. And it looked like those teams are gearing up and could potentially see each other in the regional tournament. Just depends on how those first three rounds shake out. So definitely interested to follow that one throughout the next few weeks.
That's one of those districts where you could possibly see second and third place team meet in the third round for sure.
Right.
Moving on from Tuesday night to Friday night, we had us a good little road trip, and we got to go down to Tyler Legacy, and yeah, a good little road trip. When I say a good one, I mean a good one. And we got to visit with and talk to and see a lot of familiar faces. So you want to talk about that, going to the trip to Tyler Legacy? Tell them how it came about, actually.
Well, we already mentioned Coach Smith and how he reached out to us about his players. And, we kind of mentioned that in the last episode. But, this might be my favorite part about this podcast, and that's starting to talk about East Texas basketball, is actually getting out and watching games and seeing some old faces that you saw growing up, and making those connections again, and then just enjoying basketball, high level basketball, which we got to see my man Brandon Ogden, who played at Hudson when I played at center. Yeah, shout out to him, doing great things up in that Tyler area with sports. We're able to just talk about basketball and focus on that. He's got to talk about basketball, football, soccer, volleyball. And I'm like, man, he's one of the hardest working men in the business, but definitely enjoyed catching up with him a little bit. Once again, shout out to Coach Smith for advocating for his players.
Yes, sir. Yeah, had the opportunity to talk to Coach Smith and catch up with him after the game. And first of all, thank you, Coach, for hosting us. Hats off to him. Everything was first class, man. Took care of us, had us in a great spot. And he takes care of his program the same way, and that's very obvious. He spoke very highly of not only his seniors that are contributing to what they're doing, but younger guys. And I love everything that he had going over there. He also enlightened me on a lot of stuff I didn't know. We're down here in deep East Texas, and we're mainly focused on 2A, 3A, 4A basketball, the highest I personally usually go to, dealing with center in their district. So I really didn't know much about Tyler Legacy's program, but talking to Coach, realizing that last year they only won 6 games, and the year before that, winning 1 game. So 7 games, 7 wins in 2 years, and for them to be in the playoff hunt in a really loaded district, man, hats off to Coach Smith, what he has going over there. That also speaks volumes to the staff that he has with him. And to walk in that gym and see some familiar faces. Sometimes we get caught up in our everyday life and being busy. You have no idea where people have transitioned and gone to. So to see Coach Nuckolls, he was over in Pointer my first few years in Region 3 2A, and he had a young man, his son, to go. And I thought he was still in Bullard until Friday night. We walk in the gym, he's the first assistant, sitting in the first chair. You look down through there, you see Brandon Ruby. We used to work with him at the SFA camp, dealing with the young kids. and also AB. We talked about AB on here last episode, how he was a stud himself on the floor, how you recruited him basically at every level that he went to and tried to get him down to Tarleton. So to see all of those guys and see what Coach Smith and those guys are doing with their program, shout out to you guys. Tyler Legacy is definitely turning things around, and can't wait to keep up with those group of young men, especially those two juniors and that sophomore in Nuckolls.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All of that is true. You know, seeing these faces on the sideline, getting out the rat race. Now we get caught up in what we're doing, like you said, and being able to get out, breathe, just relax, and you don't know who you're gonna run into. And you know, through Coach Smith, you know, we just made 3 connections with people that we've had some relationships with in the past, and you know that's the cool thing about this game.
Yeah, that's dope, man. And speaking of big time games, there was another huge game back home in Deep East Texas, and Shelby County faced off as the Tenaha Tigers went down to Shelbyville and faced off with the Dragons. Give us your insight on that.
Man, you know, we just talked about Tenaha and how close they were in a couple of games last week, and this is a must-win game for them. Mm-hmm. You know, they went 3-4 the first round, and you know, if they lose this one, they're 2 games behind Garrison for the 4th place spot in district, and on the outside looking in for playoffs. So must-win situation. You know, we talked about how Tenaha, they don't think that they will lose. They think they'll win every time that they step on the court. And, you know, they showed that this week with a big-time win on the road in Shelbyville and put themselves right back 1 game away from the 4th place spot where they were last year, and made a 3-round appearance, 3rd round appearance in the playoffs, because it puts them now 1 game back of Garrison, with, you know, them having that rematch, and this time it'll be in Tenaha in the 2nd round of the district race. So, you know, speaking of District 23 2A and the big win that Tenaha just had, it seems like every night is a big game in this playoff race in this district.
It was definitely about here on out.
Right, and you know, we saw it in football. Let's make a football analogy with the Buffalo Bills. You know, they said, you know, they were used to the pressure of being in the playoffs, because every game since about week 13 for them had been a win or go home type of situation. And you know, that's what you're seeing with this district. You lose a game, and you know, just like Shelbyville, they were, you know, cemented at 2nd and had a chance to try to go to Beckville and get at least a share of the district title. But with Tenaha coming in and stealing 1 on the road, now they're just 1 game up, well, a half game actually up, and pretty much steals it for Beckville. You know, they're now in the playoffs for sure, but if nobody gets a win against Beckville, they'll be district champs this year.
Yeah, man. Looking at these standings, and you have 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, like you said, all 2 games within each other. So every one of these games are going to be big this week. And speaking of big games this week, I don't think anybody has a bigger week than Garrison Bulldogs. You're having to play Shelbyville at home on Tuesday, and you're having to travel, like you said, to Tenaha on Friday. So Coach Babers, I know he's over there getting those guys ready to roll, but they have a huge week coming for the Bulldogs to basically solidify what's going to happen in this playoff race, and who's going to end up seated where, and if you're going to get in or not. Because if you lose 2 games this week, I mean, it's going to be looking real rough. But you go win 2 games this week, you can find yourself in the driver's seat and looking at possibly a 2nd place spot. And they'll be traveling to Timpson the week after that. So this is a huge week for Coach Beavers and the Harrison Bulldogs. And I can't wait to see what shakes up over there in District 23 2A.
Yeah, it will be definitely fun to watch. And, man, I know it's going to be a lot of coaches watching scoreboards when their games finish up to see what happened in this race.
Them games ain't going to end fast enough, man.
Yeah.
I'm extremely excited about this upcoming week. And starting Tuesday night, we'll be traveling right down the road, and we'll be checking out some 1A ball. Martinsville Pirates will be hosting the Laneville Yellow Jackets and a potential district championship down in District 27 1A.
Yeah, when we were looking up these records and getting district standings, I'm like, man, wait, they right down the street, but they're Region 4, which was kind of awkward to me. But I'm definitely excited about a 15-minute drive as opposed to that hour and 30-minute drive we had Friday night. Being able to go down here right up the street. But Martinsville, we talked about them before, that team, and I'll let you talk about Coach over there, but what they're doing over there with that program and how they're buying in. I think they lost to Laneville the first round by a point, in a one possession ball game. So I'm expecting the crowd to be rocking. This is another potential district championship game, and Cloudy Courtside will be in the house.
Cloudy Courtside will be courtside, and this is going to be a fun. Friday night we got to go see the highest level in Texas, 6A ball. Tuesday night we get to go see 1A ball. It's just good basketball all around East Texas, no matter what classification. So excited to go over here to Martinsville to see a former player of mine, Coach Turner Edwards, and also on the Laneville side, know Coach Deal from ETBU. Been knowing him for a long time, so this is going to be a fun one for us personally, as well as on the business side with Cloudy Courtside Chat. So excited to see this one, man, and I think it's going to be a barn burner. Like I said, that first one came down to look like the final possession of the game. And this Martinsville gym, we've been in there a couple of times when I was coaching in Timpson and coaching in Garrison, and that place can get electric. And I don't expect anything other than that on Tuesday night with this matchup of potential district champs and definitely playoff teams and two teams that could possibly make the regional tournament.
Most definitely. And Martinsville had that pleasure last year of making that deep run that they made, and that experience that they got, I'm pretty sure is motivating them to get over that hump and go play for a regional championship this year.
Yes, sir. And then on the other hand, you have Laneville, who, they're trying to get back to the Laneville of old. They had those state tournament runs back in the day and kind of, I wouldn't say fell off, but they haven't been able to get over that hump these last few years. So those guys, they see those trophies when they walk in their gym every day, and they're trying to go get one of their own. So excited to see what takes place on Tuesday night over in Martinsville. Excited as I am for Tuesday night and that district championship matchup between two guys that I personally know. I'm as equally excited to go down Friday night to St. Augustine and watch Corrigan and the St. Augustine Wolves face off for another potential district championship.
And that SA community is going to be rocking. Last year, Corrigan, they stormed the district, ran through everybody, and the coach let everybody know it. And now St. Augustine is, they're retooled, revamped. We knew a couple of years ago that they would be on the uphill climb with the young groups coming up, but I don't think anybody expected it this soon. Playing for a district championship outside of that St. Augustine team and community and fan base. But the SA Wolves, we got a chance to see them once a couple of weeks ago down in Broadus, but now it's going to be a lot more on the line, and it will be in St. Augustine. And I know the Wolf Pack will be howling in the gym that night.
Man, you better believe it. I just watched a video on Twitter earlier today how crazy they were going Friday night in there. So I can't imagine how they're going to be going bananas this Friday when Corrigan comes. And other videos that I got are young buck, Max Renfro. He went for 15. Like, yes, sir. He had him a huge game Friday night, hit some big shots, hit some big free throws down the stretch. So not only is this an opportunity for us to go watch a really good basketball game and a district matchup of two really good teams, but it's also a chance for us to go check on some of our young guns that play for us in the cave, and Max Renfro and his big brother, D. Renfro.
Well, after that Broadus game, I had a chance to talk to Max. And me and him, we kind of formed a unique bond with each other. I know you spent a lot more time with him this summer, but me and him started to grow on each other. And I just told him, he got in foul trouble down there in Broadus, got 2 quick ones, never got into a rhythm of the game, and, seemed to be kind of hesitant and passive when he did eventually check back in. So, I just talked to him and like, hey, you're a freshman, but, you played high-level basketball, you played high-level competition, you got to go out and be aggressive. You can score the ball, you can shoot the ball. Age don't mean nothing. And, he kind of, I guess, took heed to that word. And
because the videos that he sent me from Friday, he was letting it ride. Extremely proud of him, extremely happy for those guys. Max, D, Coach Randle, man, doing an amazing job down there. Because, like you said, this year's kind of playing with house money. They're young. Nobody expected them outside of them, their program, their community, to make the noise that they're making and definitely not be undefeated in district right now. So shout out to Coach and his staff, what they're doing. And they got a chance to wrap up a district championship and let everybody know, hey, we're young, but we're not waiting in line no more. We're taking this thing over right now.
Right. Max Renfro, y'all heard it here first. True freshman, and I'm expecting him to have a big finish to this season, and then spring and summer. And I can't wait to see what he looks like next year. But, the task at hand is getting that first district championship and finishing out this season with a bang.
No doubt about it. I appreciate you for joining me, brother. It's been fun. Signing out.